Hey guys, it's Astria. Sorry it's been a little while since my latest video, but we've finished up the group station. We decided to name it Group Synergy Station, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit about the station today and what we've added. So we obviously have these cool little radiators. I sent them up, but they were designed by someone else. They're pretty cool. We just figured we didn't have any radiators on the station yet, so we put some on. There's my outdoor laboratory to expose stuff to the vacuum of space. We also have a craft sent up by Spider, which he actually has a segment later in the video covering that. And then we have another craft sent up by Harry and a robotic arm on the left there. And we also moved one of the tugs because it was kind of in a awkward spot since we've added some more modules. And then I believe this is new, but we also have a medical module as well. So that's pretty much it. We're going to be moving on to the next portion of the video here, and see you then. Alright, so next up I'm going to be discussing my modules personally. I kind of wanted to go through and have everyone discuss their own modules, but only Spider was able to record video and audio. So I'm going to do mine as well. So right in the center here we have the first module sent up to the station. It was sent up by me. It has 6 nodes to attach segments to it. I didn't want to have to do a 4-node module to start off. I wanted something a bit more original, so I sent up a 6-node module. You can see the parachutes are windows there. Got an engine and a wheel and some antennas, I guess, as the ion engines. And moving on, we next have, I believe we're going to show off my outdoor laboratory. I did briefly mention this earlier in the video, but I'm just going to give some more detail. So there's 6 canisters with pipelines between each of them to give them atmosphere and to insert the things you want to test. You put something in one of them, you expose it to the vacuum of space, and see how it affects it. So that you can put like plants in there, insects, I guess small animals if you're evil. And I also added these 2 pressurized hallways to expand the station so we could add more modules. I just figured I'd mention it because I didn't know what else to mention. I really didn't send up that many modules, but there are 3 of them. There's 2 there, and then there's 1 here. This one doesn't have any windows, but the one up top has windows. And then I also sent up something on Brioche's behalf. He wanted to originally send up a fuel module to refuel craft, but I just decided to do it myself on his behalf. So this is my design, and I sent it up, but it was his idea to send up a fuel thing, so I gave him credit for it. And I believe that's pretty much it. I'm going to let Spider take it away here in a second, and I hope you enjoy his portion of the video.
Here we have an LC-39A inspired pad I made for the custom rocket carrying the Arcane spacecraft. And we have a strong back retract, and we're going to have a lift off of the rocket. Soon we're going to see a sped up view of the trajectory to orbit. And I chose the name Arcane for the spacecraft because it means unknown and mystifying, which it essentially is what space is, vast and unknown. It's a great equalizer for everyone involved, and I wanted to capture that feeling of what we're exploring. Anyways, we're going to be having stage separation here and ignition of the Valiant on the 2nd stage. Because this is a crewed rocket, there's also the need for an escape tower if anything goes wrong. But in this flight, since everything is looking good, once we escape Earth's atmosphere, we'll jettison the tower and nose cone, just as we did right there. And you can also see the map view of what we're making to orbit. Right there was just a piece of the escape system. You have to jettison it as well, just so that you don't bump into it later. Now we're making orbit. We're just going to time warp over to the apoapsis and burn until we've circularized to an 100-kilometer orbit. But in this flight, I actually overshot by a few kilometers, so we're doing some corrections there so that we can meet the station. Now once we've separated from the 2nd stage here, you'll be able to see the energy cells on the craft. And there's the station. We'll be docking shortly on the adapter on my science module, and you can see it's decked out with experiments and labs. And what's interesting about the craft here is that I added an interstage to give the effect of a male to female docking port. However, it's purely visual. However, it does add to a sense of realism. Now, onto the airlock. You can see there the mechanism of the hatch opening and closing for astronauts to go in and out for EVA. And on the top you can also spot an open air airlock for testing experiments and like, which is that orange fuel tank. And once we're done closing that up, that just about sums up my modules: the Arcane spacecraft, the science module, and the airlock. I had a very fun experience making this, and I thank everyone involved.
Alright, thank you, Spider. That was very well spoken and very well edited. Be sure to check out Spider's channel. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to go check that out. So, moving on, I made this little diagram of the station with all the modules, who built them, and what they are. There's also some other information like the station weight, who was involved, other interesting stuff about the station, and I'll let you pause the video here if you're interested in it, but I'm going to be moving on shortly. So once again, just pause the video if you want to see all the details. I just made it in MS Paint really quickly. I just wanted to put something together to explain the station in better detail in a more succinct manner. So hope you enjoy. Be sure to pause the video if you want to check this out. Alright guys, well this is the end of the video and I want to do something kind of interesting. So we're going to be crashing the space station back on Earth. I don't know if I'm the only one, but whenever I build something really big in space, I always want to see how it impacts the ground at high velocities and just really tears itself apart. So, because the station doesn't have any RCS by design to keep the part count low, we're going to be using this Valiant engine on this spacecraft somebody sent up to be deorbiting us. And it is going to take quite a while, but don't worry, I'm going to speed up the video so you don't have to deal with that. But we're going to be transferring fuel from the station to the spacecraft to hopefully not run out of fuel, because this is going to take quite a while and it's going to be a really inefficient burn because the station weighs so much and because we have such a low thrust. So we're going to orient ourselves retrograde, start burning here. You can almost barely see the plume on that thing coming out of the back of the engine, but it is there. You can see how slowly our velocity is decreasing. You can also see how slowly our periapsis is decreasing. We're going to speed up the video here in a second by 10 times, and it is still going to take quite a while. I believe this took 10 to 15 minutes in real time. But yeah, we're also going to be making quite a bit of headway around the planet while we do this. And I believe we're almost going to get exactly to where back to where we started this burn when we impact the planet. You can see there's also a spacecraft on launch pad. We're going to be using that a bit later to get around some of the issues of time warp, because the main reason we couldn't continue the space station was because of time warp issues. When you're time warping with the spacecraft or near the spacecraft, the game basically crashes because of the insane part count. So that is the main reason we stopped production of this space station. You can see there that we're almost at 21 kilometers, and we're going to be burning all the way until 20 kilometers, so that we're for sure going to be crashing and not really skipping off the atmosphere. Make a quick save because that took way too long, and I do not want to do it again if something goes wrong. We're going to switch to the spacecraft here and select that one and time warp until we hit the atmosphere, which is a nice way of getting around time warp lag I mentioned, because if you time warp at all with the spacecraft, the game will just freeze and it will basically be impossible to play. So now that we're at 28 kilometers, you can see some of the atmosphere starting to show up. I'm pretty sure that the spacecraft isn't really going to be spun up by the insane drag, because it does have quite a lot of just, I guess, probes and command modules. So because of that, and because it's so light, the spacecraft is really good about keeping its orientation, regardless of the atmospheric effects. So we're just going to be speeding up the video here again by 5 times, because this did also take quite a while. Didn't want to have to go through it again in real time. And you can see we're about to pass over the launch pad where we have our spacecraft we used to speed up time. And now we're passing 20 kilometers, which is our original periapsis, but our periapsis now is way below 20 kilometers. And I was going to switch to the spacecraft and launch pad and see if I could see the station going by overhead, but I figured I couldn't. I figured like 18 kilometers was way beyond the render distance of parts anyway, so I didn't even try it. Yeah, we're coming down below 10 kilometers here in a second. And I believe we're going to cut out sped up video to show you the impact in real time. Or not real time, because there was quite a bit of lag, and I did remove some of the frames to try and reduce lag. You can see here we're now at its out of sped up video. We're about to impact the surface, and boom, there we go. Wasn't as dramatic as I thought it'd be, but I got rid of all those frames from impact, because if you know, the game tries to calculate all the parts for impact right before it impacts. So every single time it hits the ground here, it was probably about 10 to 15 seconds of one frame, but I cut all that out, so it's almost seamless. And there we go, the station has almost come to a rest on the surface. It looks a little bit dinged up, but it's not too bad. Now we're going to switch over to it. And I'm going to end off the video here just by saying thank you to everyone involved. Thank you to Harry, to Spider, to Yash, to RP1, to LSV, to Brioche, to Lascos, everyone who sent up a module, everyone who contributed to the group chat. I just want to thank all of you. This has been a really, really awesome project, and it's one of the biggest stations I've ever done. It's been really rewarding seeing it grow and develop, and I hope all of you enjoyed this video series. Anyway, guys, catch me at my newest video. I don't know when it's going to be. I'm going to be trying to upload weekly now. This is Astria signing off.